Welcome to another Motortown video. Today I'm here to give you guys the post-race commentary on the recent semi-truck Sumersault Sunday. Yeah, another semi-truck racing event which I was quite excited for because semi-trucks are always good fun and don't usually lead to that many issues, so I was hoping for quite a bit of good racing, and I would say this race, as far as I remember, delivered quite well. So we are now at the start point of Anson Speedway for a 4-lap race. For some reason, the smaller trucks have all gotten to the front and the larger ones have been relegated to the rear. There's also one guy in a Jimusi semi. So we should be about to start here once again with some of these recordings. I don't always know when exactly we are going to get going. So I just start them when I think we are about to get there, but yeah, there is the countdown. Also, one thing I noticed with the countdown itself, I'm not entirely sure if we are going on 3 or 4 again, because it seems to be more like 4, so 3, 2, 1, go instead of 1, 2, 3, and 3 is when it's gonna get going. So that's a bit confusing, and I might have to actually ask some people how it's meant to be done now. And yeah, I didn't get the best start and I ended up behind somebody else, so yeah, gotta be careful about contact here. I'm in a bit of a precarious situation with my light little teeny weeny truck right here. At least teeny weeny compared to the monstrosities around me, so gotta be a bit on the defensive side and not start any shit in order to survive here. But yeah, I got the feeling that I have a leg up on the guy in front of me, so I should be able to overtake if I find the space. And here we go, pretty quickly going side by side. I hope I'm also side by side on their side, because otherwise this might not go too well. And I try to make space, and I notice that I'm fully in front of them, so I might as well cut on the inside and get a better corner exit. The other SRTs in front of me are now driving away. I think there may have been a slight issue with me slowing down at the start and not getting the best start there, but yeah, once again, I should really be confirming how we are doing starts now, because there might have been a rule change during my hiatus. But yeah, we are now, I think, in 4th place, and as far as I remember, this might be where we stay for the entire race. I think I'm slowly catching back up to the people in front, or at least I will be in some places. But overall, I'm not entirely sure if it's gonna be enough. Again, I'm recording this commentary a few days after the races happened, so I'm not entirely sure about how everything went. There are definitely not that many negative things standing out like I had with some of the past events, which just completely killed my race. I'm usually pretty good at keeping that in memory, but this race doesn't strike that much of a memory for me, so I guess it's been a good one. And that's just how it works sometimes. Also a bit of a change on the paint job. It used to be more like Pepsi colors, so was the red on the top or the bottom, but I think we're now having a deeper blue and of course a black at the bottom. I think it was red, white and blue from the top. Might have been the other way around, but I'm not entirely sure. And it also definitely had a few more sponsor decals, but those always felt like they were just meant to fill space in the back, and they didn't really fit in that well. So I decided to get rid of them and only keep a few on the front and the side, and that's definitely helping making the whole thing look a bit more clear. So nothing really too major in terms of changes, but I think it just looks a bit better. And yeah, we are definitely catching on the people in front, while everybody behind me with a different truck here is slowly falling further behind. So I'm in a pretty good position here, I would say. And while I usually like battling other people and just really having the back and forth and all of that, it's nice to just have a race where nothing major goes wrong. So I can kind of focus on honing in my lines and all of that. I have to say though, I did zero preparation for this race, or for any of the races here. I just didn't really feel like it, and with my current fleet of semi-trucks, I think I have something good for every race. It might not be the actual case, but at that time I thought that, yeah, I can just take this truck for that race, the other one for this one, and that should all be alright. So the second race is actually going to happen in another truck. But this one was definitely a good choice for the first race here. I might still have to try and changing a few more things about it, but we'll have to see about if it's gonna be more apparent in the third race. Also, you may have noticed already that we have Milk LPD over there, who's been taking some footage, going around the track and just having a look at the race as a spectator. So I don't know if we are going to get a bit more footage from that in some way or another. But yeah, there were a few more people around here that didn't actually participate. There were a few more that actually just went onto the event server, not knowing what was about to happen here, and just seeing what's up. So I think some of them might have joined the race after all, but there were also a few that we had to just shush off the track here and there. So I gotta say, while it was a pretty relaxed and fun experience, there were definitely a few delays that we might have to look into in terms of making things a bit more efficient. Also potentially looking into getting a server password for the next few races, just so that we don't get any random people joining who don't want to actually participate. There's always, of course, the chance that somebody would like to join the race if they get onto the server, but yeah, it very often comes with some people just interrupting things. And everybody who lined up for the race having to wait quite a bit longer in order to get the new guy into the whole thing. So that's kind of a factor right now that we might look into how we want to address it. And I'm trying to get a bit more speed out of this truck, hopefully being able to catch back up, but I don't think that's gonna happen. We are also on the last lap now, so I think that should be the end of the race, or is there still... No, there doesn't seem to be another one to go. So yeah, fourth place, I'm pretty sure, and just a clean race overall. And here we go, race over. And now it's actually time to pack up and go to the next track, which I also want to do in another truck, because that one was actually an off-road race, and we are going to go through medium with all the rocks and everything involved. So I decided to just go for my off-roading logging truck, the Titan. It also recently got a little makeover. I mean, it happened quite a while ago. I don't know if I showed you guys before. So I hope I can also show you guys the front here. Oh yeah, this one might actually take a while because we have a little NPC truck over there which needs to be taken care of. But yeah, I knew I needed a race truck for this in order to get through Megium and over the rocks and not die. So I decided to just take the one that I'm using for that area anyways. And yeah, here's a little look at the front. Just a quick look around. You can't really see too much in the dark, sadly. But yeah, I decided at some point to just redo the entire getup for the truck. Since I want to stick with purple due to the front grille being a mix between red and blue, which of course in the middle then results in purple. As you can see in the front right here. Partially blue on the top, partially red on the bottom, and somewhere in the middle it should be blending together into a nice transition from one purple to another. But yeah, we are finally going, and I'm having the worst luck with somebody in front of me. Also forgetting to shift because I'm just trying to get to the side of them, so this didn't really work out too well. And yeah, this whole thing about kind of missing the start because somebody else in front of me slowed me down. It's a thing that occasionally happens. Although I gotta say, in this case, and you will see what I mean sooner than later, it didn't really ruin the race for me. So once again, most of the field consisting of either Golimas or SRTs. But there's also one guy in the Cuda that I just overtake, and also, of course, me in the Titan. And I gotta say, this entire thing felt a bit floaty. So not really the best truck, I would say. Or at least not with the current setup, and it's going to become very apparent once we get to the dirt road. This, of course, being in the northeast region of Megium, so with still quite new coastal road that we are taking here, allowing us to have a really new and unique lap based round around this entire area. We are only going for one lap though, because of the length of everything here. So taking the coastal road first and then going over to the Megium dirt road. And this might be a good sign of things to come, because for some reason I just spun out here and I couldn't really save it. Also having some trouble because, well, the wheel isn't turning that fast. At this point I decided, since I already saw the light behind me, that I want to let somebody else pass. But they turned out to be so far behind that I decided to then just cut in front of them. So yeah, the problem with this truck right now is that likely the rear springs are quite a bit stiffer than the front ones, because I'm of course using it for trucking, and therefore the rear being stiffened up makes perfect sense, and it works absolutely fine with a trailer attached. But on its own, under racing conditions, this is a really poorly set up. Also trying to avoid the guy, but yeah, can't fully do so. So yeah, I'm running in a suboptimal setup over here, and I think one thing that I would really like to do once I get back into the game fully, I would like to prepare an off-road racing truck. Don't know even which one I would take as the basis for that, but it needs to be something. And then I also have issues with the BMW lookalike over here. It's really slowing down. I try to go past it and I somehow catch it at the back and, well, get yeeted for it. So I think at this point I'm firmly in last place, and with how oversteery the entire truck gets once it's on the dirt, I think the rest of the track is not gonna be the best one for me. But yeah, we are going again. Might even take Willem LPD over there, who is just trying to disappear in the distance, but I think I should be able to at least be a bit competitive with them. After all, this truck, at least it has the ground clearance in order to deal with the dirt roads and all the rocks which have now been removed with the recent 0.77 update. So we can now also do this track with a whole another variety of cars, which is really exciting. But at this point, where I did the event, something specialized was required for this to work out, and my truck should have been just that. Apart from a shitty suspension setup that makes the entire thing handle like nothing good. And you can see it already here, and at this point I knew just how screwed I was for the entire race. But that's definitely on me, and yeah, it just means that after this event we should get something that hopefully behaves a bit better. My SRT isn't that great for this kind of thing anyway, so that might not even be the one I want to go for. Maybe I need another Golema. Who knows? And yeah, we're now getting into the really rocky area, and all of this is now quite a bit smoother without the large boulders even. But with this truck, no real problem. We get a bit of lift, but nothing too bad. Until we slide out a tiny bit too much, and yeah. A good suspension setup is really half a race here. And I sadly don't have it. But yeah, besides that, what else is going on? There are a few more people up front, like 500 meter away. But I don't think I'll be getting anywhere close to them. So at this point it's really just partially about getting it home. It's just a good competitive race isn't going to happen, and I just have myself to thank for that. Another little bump, and this sends me spinning again. And I think I might just save you guys some of the trouble, and we are just skipping ahead a little bit into the hairpins. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to using some of my more powerful vehicles on this, because this is going to be so much fun drifting around here. And yeah, Willem apparently had enough and just skipped a few hairpins. You're going to see a few more skips in a moment. Can't really blame them if they have the same kind of issues that I'm facing right now. At this point, trying to complete the track is just, it's painful. And yeah, they just went off a cliff there. And in the end, they got a penalty for that, so that's how that all goes. I guess they had to reset, but now they are skipping again, like at least 2 hairpins. And yeah, I'm trying to stay on track and see that I can hopefully overtake them after all. Because that dirt, or that completely off-road section there, it should also be quite harsh, and I think they may have reset again after I went through there, because I'm now seeing them just coming off the side of a cliff there. It would be really nice if we could set up our own checkpoints and all of that for these kind of races. Would really legitimize a lot of the stuff that we are doing here, and just make it so that the host can also participate once the track limits are clearly defined. Since we are using the workshop now, we could also do the same thing for racetracks. Just being able to save a few certain items to the racetrack that we want to set up, like custom placed checkpoints, maybe cones and stuff like that. Maybe a few arrow props or so that we can put down and just add to a track, save it, and anybody who wants it can just spawn it back in. Then we just need to be able to get rid of traffic and also a few more little additions to how the physics work and all of that, just cleaning up the netcode a bit, etc. And then this should be a really, really good and fun racing game or something. Okay, Willem just hitting the gas station, quite literally. And at this point I wasn't even sure how this was supposed to be done, but since it's supposed to be a lap track, of course I need to go back to the start-finish line. And I feel like the start-finish line could be moved around a little bit to make it work out a bit better. But besides that, it's a fun track. I just had a really bad setup for my truck. Third race back into the SRT, and this is now a point-to-point race going down south from somewhere near Northern OG. So pretty close to where we ended the last race is where we start this one. And the fun thing is, the map wasn't all that clear that or how this race was going to be supposed to be done. So me and a few other people, we ended up going down to the finish line because we thought the race was going to start in the south and then we would need to travel up north. But no, it starts very close to where we ended the last race, and we are now all racing down south into the desert. I was considering to maybe take the little shortcut over there to the left, but I decided against it, just leaning into the side of a cliff there. But yeah, I start decently far enough in front. I was actually, when I went to the finish line, as I thought the race was set up over there, I got pole position. But when coming back up here, I of course need to go a bit further down the line. But yeah, and this one is actually quite the interesting part. I thought I had him. But then the car just started to slide, I mean the semi, and yeah, lost control for a bit, couldn't keep it, and yeah, I'm paying the price. Quite a few people are passing me right now, so that's definitely on me. And yeah, I'm just trying to stay out of other people's way. Seeing the other guy lag a little bit, I thought I'd better get out of the way, but it didn't really need to happen. You don't always know that beforehand. Another guy seemed to have gone off a little bit to the left and rejoining in a slightly spicy way. Oh yeah, and I, for some reason, lost control there for a little bit and went way too far to the inside. Went off the gas for a bit so I don't get a benefit out of it. And a lot of other SRTs are now overtaking me, so yeah, if everything goes right, I'm at least able to stick to them and get a few more places. But then they just ram into each other and yeah, it's a bit of a situation going on. This is another place where we can use the terrain as a bank turn. I decided against it, didn't want to be unfair. And, well, also my off-road capabilities turned out to be not so great in this truck. Somebody in front of me tried, and yeah, it also didn't go that well for them. So they nearly missed the other Golema. And I'm trying to overtake now, or at least set up for a good overtake. And I'm pretty sure that people in front of me are going to miss the turn. I felt like I had the turn, but at this point, or somewhere around here, it felt like only staying on the road would be to my own detriment. So better go a bit wider and keep a bit more speed through the bend there. But yeah, overtaking Scatman right now, and a few more people right up in front of me. Seem to be 2 more Golemas, but yeah, I'm also sliding out again. Another good indication that maybe the SRT should not be my off-road racing truck, and that I should just take better care of the setup I had for that in general. So this is where any potential rework of my suspension setup is going to come in handy, hopefully. Because right now it just doesn't want to drive nicely on dirt. Yeah, just looking to see what happens up in front of me, if they maybe make some mistakes and let me catch up again. There seems to be something going on, and maybe a tiny shortcut on my end. It's really not all that well defined with track limits here. Another guy coming from behind. And while I'm not in last, I'm at least out of competition behind me. So don't need to take care of anybody overtaking me. And once again, weird drift, and I hope I catch it. Bus in front of me, not ideal, but I decided to just go around it on the outside. Going to the inside would have been much faster, but it would also have been too risky, so I decided against it. Also slightly over revving the engine here. Trying to get a place through the little chicane there. And it's all working out pretty well. But at this point I'm also pretty wary of the entire truck setup. Not too confident in its ability to not slip out and just spin around. Psychic Eagle in front of me going for the dirt road. I want to stay on the regular road, but it is a tiny bit longer, and we are going to see the difference in a moment once they turn back towards us and rejoin on the track. They are a tiny bit further ahead now. Nothing too crazy, but due to my likely smaller track and everything, I can also set up for an overtake. I try to stay on the outside, just giving them all the space they need, but yeah, sadly that's not being returned here. And it may have just been an instance of server lag again. We've seen in the past event that sometimes the cars are not the same on both screens, and they may have not even seen me. But this was definitely the end of this race for me. But hey, it's pretty much the end of the race anyway, so that checks out. Quite a few buses around here. And this is me finishing it and going off into the distance. And yeah, that's the entire event. 3 races, and it definitely showed me that I still need to do a few more things to my truck in order to make it even better than what it is. It was pretty competitive in the first race, Second race was an absolute disaster, and the third one didn't go that well either, particularly once I left the pavement. So yeah, still a few things to figure out, but we are getting there. And I gotta say, I really like that not all the races now require me to make a full setup, that I can just join a few of them not that well prepared because I've done the research and everything in the past. But in this case, there's definitely a few more things to figure out, so that's what I'm gonna be doing next with truck here. Potentially buying another one for the off-road races, and then I'm just gonna have to see about all of that. But that's gonna be it from me for this race, and I mean for the entire event and video here. Once again, it's way too hot. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on the matter, and till next one, have a good one. Bye bye.